Hello, friends, and welcome to the Fall of an Age. We are in Waterdeep, the City of Splendors, the crown jewel of the Sword Coast, Faerun's model for what civilization should be. The races are represented in nearly equal manner. There is the closest this society has come to equality. But we're not talking about city or politics or civilizations or the bent and the structure and the scope of mankind or any of the races. Where they are going, well, they've already had their chance. But what we will do is we will go back before we go forward, as we often do. And I would like to tell you of a woman named Lady Winthrop. She was never married. Wealthy, which is strange, in that the marriage or the union between her and another member of a wealthy household would have constructed a stronger bond in this society upon which we speak, but she never did. She was told at an early age, cleric, that she would never have children. And when she was told this news, Lady Winthrop smiled, a knowing, almost sad smile to the cleric, and she said, "Oh, my dear, I will. They just haven't found me yet." And so the weeks became months and the months became years. But the cleric remembered those words. And one day, a child abandoned on the temple steps, he took that human girl and brought her to the house of Lady Winthrop. And when he knocked on the door, he was able to say, this child was on the... But before he had a chance to continue, Lady Winthrop's eyes welled with tears. "You found them. You found my child." And she kissed the cleric on the cheek, took the babe in her arms, and mother and child were reunited. And as she professed her thanks, the rumors traveled fast. The Lady Winthrop took in a stray, an urchin, a mutt. Well, at least that's what the rich said. The rest of the city, "Did you hear of Lady Winthrop? She took in a woman, a girl, not of any merit, just a child." And as these whispers spread throughout the City of Splendors, the name of the city paled in comparison to the image that was crafted. It wasn't long before another person came, a halfling boy, the human equivalent, 5 years old. And the town guardsman said, "Mother, I'm sorry to bother you, but this boy's folks were killed by highwaymen." And before the town guard could finish explaining, Mother said, "You found them. You found my child." And she knelt down in front of the small halfling boy, moved his chin up to meet her gaze, and she said, "You are safe. You are home." And the halfling boy's eyes welled up with tears, from eyes that had seen too much. But before him he saw love. And love beats an awful lot. And into the house, Mother took the boy. You are home. Over and over it went, on and on. For over 200 years, people would come to the doorstep. All the children from every race and identification were brought to Lady Winthrop, and the story was always the same. The only thing that changed was they stopped calling her Lady Winthrop, and the entire city of Splendors began to call her Mother. But as they came, a woodsman found this little horse child in the woods. You found them. You found my child. This gnome lost both of its parents. You found them. You found my child. Over, and this child, no family, no friends. Mother, you found them. You found my child. And so, the woman that was told she would never bear children of her own created the largest family to ever exist between the walls of the City of Splendors. And as she grew this family, she continued to take in the young, and as they would age and leave, some would stay behind, some would teach at the school that was now the former Winthrop estate. They would guard, they would do whatever they could to help Mother. This was their home. Mother realized there was more her money could do. She opened similar homes in Baldur's Gate and in Neverwinter, always putting the right people in place that would accept everyone. You found them. You found my child, was the greeting that met every child's ear when brought to the door of one of Mother's homes, including the friends that we have here today. All of them were greeted by Mother in one fashion or another. They were raised by her. They were brought in by her. Mother has become a fixture in the City of Splendors, just as much as the gargantuan statues that guard the city and the griffin riders that patrol the air. Mother's a fixture, but not one of war or protection, one of love. And so, as we welcome in our cast that is brought into the City of Splendors on this, its final sunset, I would like to go around and simply have the players introduce these characters, these children of Mother, or these friends of Lady Winthrop. Lauren, tell us about your character.
Zephrine, or Zef, as Mother calls her, is from Waterdeep, from the streets of Waterdeep, at least in the outlying wilderlands. She is tall but extremely pale. The veins on her skin are this sky blue color, and that tint kind of permeates her entire body. She has long, stringy black hair and really dark blue eyes. She came to Mother when she was about 8, and it wasn't really willingly, but she was starving and Mother had food, and they became... Zef wasn't the model child by any means, but she respects Mother and what she does and depends on her still. And she came back to Waterdeep recently.
And we will come back around And you can tell us exactly, maybe if there was a special moment shared between Zef and Mother, and if there was something that Zef did that was really bad, that perhaps Mother hasn't forgotten, but not in a vengeance sort of way, but in a do you remember when sort of way. And so before we go a bit further, I should say that Mother is humanoid. She has dark skin, gray hair now. She's very thin, always wears a robe that goes from gathered around her neck to gathered around her ankles. She has a warm face. It is lined now with age, but no one knows exactly how old she is or what race would claim her, for she does not claim any, as she herself is a mother to all. Let's go down and talk to Audrey. Audrey, who will you be playing? And tell us a little bit about him.
I will be playing Aspen, and the first thing that people notice about Aspen is how they shine. Their coat, their hindquarters, their centaur, is a lovely chestnut brown that just has that like furred shininess to it. They wear chainmail most places, gleaming always, perfectly polished, and a shield with an emblem of not any particular god, more sort of a collection of sort of wild symbols and things like that. And it just absolutely always catches the sun, reflecting it right into viewers' faces. So that is the first thing that people notice. They're about just a little over 6 feet tall, so reasonably tall for a bipedal person, but in terms of their horse parts, not actually that large. Pretty standard as centaurs go. And yeah, you said we would go back around to do the memories?
We will.
So
we will. Unless you want to add something right now, which is...
Aspen has always been a wanderer. They were originally from wild places out where, you know, this concept of civilization was just not even, like, no one knew what people were talking about, wild and free. And when they lost their family, their herd, and came to Waterdeep, the city was stifling, and so they always ran through the streets, through the gardens, through the outside the city even sometimes. And this did not always go over well, especially, you know, a teenager disappearing for days at a time or trampling something that was important.
Fantastic. I love that image. And so as we have Aspen riding off into the sunset and the skies of days and weeks past, let's go over to Levi. Levi, my friend, how are you, and who will you be playing this evening?
I am... Excuse me? I'm great. I'm glad to be here. I will be playing Ortus, a tiefling individual. Skin the pale orange of a sunrise when you're alone. With longish hair of a darker color. And they grew up on the streets of Waterdeep, a nameless individual. Just, hey, you there, orange one. And they would spend a fair bit of their youth scrambling around doing meager chores for a couple of copper, until one day they were taken in by Mother. They found a home, they found a name.
Fantastic. And let's jump over. Danny, how are you, my friend? Welcome to the channel. Everybody, welcome to the channel in the bottom row. Love the characters so far. Let's hear who you'll be playing this evening, and what would you like to tell us about them?
Hello, hello. I will be playing Veneris. He is a tiefling of sea green skin and tone. His eyes are a bright gold. They look almost like a pair of cat's eyes. He tends to wear a mixture of dark brown and black leather armor. He's got a black cloak, and for those of you that are his siblings, you'll know that he has a pair of bat-like wings that sprout from his shoulder blades. He's a curious child. He's fairly young, possibly 18 or so-ish in age. He's pretty much just gotten out of the orphanage and was about to start a journey north to find work. He was found by Mother earlier on in his life. He hails from Waterdeep. That's him.
Fantastic. And finally, leaving the birthday boy for last, I will jump up to Jason. Jason, my friend, who will you be playing tonight? And why don't you tell us a little bit about him?
I'll be playing Father Strider. Imagine, if you will, like any day in Waterdeep towards twilight, long shadows are being cast at Mother's home for wayward children, casting, these shadows in archways, and there's a lot of playing going on outside with the kids, and as raucous children get, a little bit of anger comes up and a shouting match begins from one child to another, and from the shadows you hear the clacking of wood on cobblestone as a quarterstaff smacks into the ground. And at first you see these yellow eyes in the shadows, and slowly stepping into the fading light of twilight, you see a hooded figure with a muzzle rather feline in nature, as a voice calmly says to the children, Now, children, you know that inner peace is all that we have to stem the ocean's anger. And with a single deft, swift movement, you see, as if he's in one place and then another, he bolts across the courtyard and brings his quarterstaff clacking down on the ground in front of them, sort of defying his 50 plus years of age, separating the two. In regards to his history with the home, Father Strider, this is his second time around. He originally, as a youth, was taken in by Mother and betrayed that trust to sort of lead a criminal lifestyle. Now, Mother is the only one that knows this, but as he slowly discovered the error of his ways over time, entering a monastery, he came back to Mother's home to atone for what he had taken from her. And as such, he is here to divert children from the path that he chose to take and mistake.
Fantastic. The walking example that is Father Strider. So, as I'm getting ready to walk around and talk to all of you, the scene has been set by our collaborative narrative that is here. It is the last sunset of Waterdeep. And as Father Strider mentioned, and as in the explanations given by Levi, the twilight is upon us. And as the sun begins to creep not only over the edge of Mount Waterdeep and the surrounding hills, but also over the urban skyline that is Mount Waterdeep, or that is Waterdeep, we are in what is essentially a very nice part of the city, in an area between the right around the castle ward and also the temple ward. So it is an older home. It is an older estate, as is indicated by the age of Lady Winthrop as Mother. But as the older children who will be playing tonight, I would now take the moment to give a couple mechanics as to what you can be expecting throughout the course of the campaign. Currently in the estate, there are 20 children. Tonight we will be introduced to 5 of them, much like we are introduced to 5 characters. 5 children will be brought forward in the NPC narrative. They will go from being black and white and brought into color. The other characters and PCs that we have that are waiting in the wings, they are also children of Mother. They may currently be on the grounds. They may be in the city of Waterdeep. Mother has always told her children as they leave the home, if there is ever a problem, if there is ever an emergency, come home. And so where we find these future adventurers, if we ever need them, these 5 seem pretty formidable, so we'll see how well they do. But with that in play, I would also indicate just below me, you will see the donations that will allow you to be a part of the collaborative narrative if you would like to as well. Some very powerful ones, as we have a D12 of advantage, which you will unfortunately learn soon is extremely important. Also, once per session or once per campaign, someone can be saved from a near fatal instance, and you can be brought back from the dead. Again, we have plenty of people to play, but if somebody tickles your fancy and has a story that you want to continue to hear, those donations are there. But before we move forward, I would like to introduce you to the children that you see at play. The ones that Father Strider are scolding, there are 20 in total, but 5 of them stick out to all of your characters as you are playing in the cobblestone streets outside of the walled Winthrop estate. And as everyone is running and dashing here and there, playing hide and go seek and, chasing stray cats around or one another, you see the following 5 children. And I will give you all the benefit of making notes now might help in the future, but whatever you would like. If a child is named that is of a race other than human, I am giving their human equivalent age so everybody can understand exactly what type of maturation process they are in. We have Pidge, short for pigeon. Her is a halfling. She is roughly 6 years old. She stands at an impressive 1.5 feet. She carries a forest green blanket that is 3 feet long. She has blonde hair, lavender eyes, and she constantly follows the other children around, letting her know that she's there. As she sees them playing hide and go seek, she will follow them, and in a mixture of elven and a bit of kind of like Waterdeep urban speak, almost like a thieves' cant, you'll hear her say, "Oh yeah, oh yeah," which means, I'm here. And she will chase around everybody as they try to hide. "Oh yeah, oh yeah." And that's Pidge. And ever present around Pidge is a large, hulking boy of 12 years old. His name is Rock, and he is a half-orc. Him. He has a broken orbit that still droops over his left eye, incapable of being fixed by a cleric. He has a broken lower tusk that he is very self-conscious of, and so whenever he speaks, he raises his hand to hide his mouth as he talks. He's quiet. He is a slow learner, but he is kind and he is loyal, and he would protect Pidge with his life. In addition to that, there is a small gnome, roughly 9 years old, by human standards named Truss, but everyone has called them Blunder Truss. Blunder Truss, they, them, no hair grows on their head. Their skin has no pigment. Highly intelligent, but incredibly shy. And they are constantly reading books. Always a stack beside them. Always parchment and ink-stained fingers as notes are being made. Sweet but distant. And there is Robin, a 10-year-old boy, him, small, very pale skin with dark hair and dark eyes. Very, very bright. Occasionally, he will sit beside Blundertruss, and they will read together, as two kindred spirits like often would. And the following child that we will reveal this evening was named Daisy, a half-elf that was brought in by Mother, but Daisy has rejected that name. She has a 13-year-old equivalency in human age, and as a teenager, she now goes by the name Z. She is rebellious. She has cut off her long hair. She fancies herself more elf than human. And as teenagers tend to drift, she is a bully. So, as we have the children that are now arrayed in front of you, along with 15 others that run and stretch upon this, the last twilight of Waterdeep, I will go back around. And Lauren, what is there, when you were this age, as you watch these children at play, what did you do with Mother that might have been special? Or what did you do, as you mentioned before, that really caused her an eyebrow raise?
Zef did not know how to speak any language when she showed up, and Mother couldn't really get anything out of her, definitely not through the traditional means of schooling, but they went out to Mother's garden together, and Mother, seeing how much Zef loved all the plants and the flowers, began to teach her what they were called. And slowly but surely, as they tended the garden together, Zef began to speak. But she still preferred communicating through other means. Zef wasn't a bully, but she certainly didn't like them. And as she grew and began to come to terms with what she was, when she saw someone doing it, one day she almost like melted into a dog that she had seen in the streets when she was little, a dog she was scared of and ran around corners to get away from, and she attacked the older kid in this form. When Mother saw this, Zef was, of course, ashamed. And that was the first time she ran away. And she ran away many times after that, but always came home.
And home she is now. And then, of course, we heard that Aspen had a similar, perhaps not a running away, as a need to run. And that became part of the association with Mother, as Mother would await, and sometimes Mother would ride out to meet Aspen, and together the pair would ride around the fields between Daggerford and Waterdeep, the old tradeways that were appropriately safe, but it was just the two of them. Levi, is there something that Ortus remembers of Mother, or something that they did to irritate her?
Ortus came to the home that he has fairly young, not young, fairly older, preteen when they first came through the doors. And as preteens are, they can get tad emotional, as an interesting problem that Ortus has had to deal with is that when they get emotional, sparks of fire start to sprout from their body into the people that he is near, that they are near. And there was a point, first couple of weeks into their stay, where they were arguing with someone that they shared a bunk room with. Something petty, certainly, but Ortus, for the first time in their time there, had started a fire and burnt his sibling, and a lot of their relationship with Mother has been kind of recovery from that. But as Ortus gazes into the last sunset, they remember a sunrise, and they had struggled to sleep the previous night and were the first one up in the house, the second one being Mother, and the two of them had a pleasant chat, and Mother mentioned her love of the sunrise. And so Ortus found their name in Infernal, Ortus, meaning sunrise.
Fantastic. And Ortus would have known as soon as that first incident took place that there was always open buckets around. Not for protection for the estate, not for protection for the other children, but to help Ortus feel comfortable and that they could be exactly who they were and that no harm would come and that they were home. Danny, do we have any type of thing that Veneris would have done specifically with Mother or gotten under her skin by doing?
Yes. He has always been a huge fan of the game hide and seek. In fact, more recently, he's gotten very good at it. He loves to crawl into spaces that are extremely small, that pretty much only him or one of the other children could crawl into, and he would play hide and seek with Mother. But on the opposite side of things, he has been very clumsy. His tail tends to knock into things, and typically around the house she'd get very angry after he would accidentally bump into either a piece of artwork or the nicer silverware or dishes, and things would come clattering to the ground. He also tends to ask a lot of questions, and he doesn't seem to have a good read on when people have had enough of those questions.
Fantastic. And one time that would have been between you and Mother, your expert hide and go seeking, Mother found you, but instead of revealing you to the rest of the house, she hid with you. And as each child would find your hiding place, they were pulled into the hide until there was a group of 20 children inside a closet with Mother giggling and pressed against one another with the temperature of shared body heat rising, until the last child opened the door and went, "What are you all doing in here?" And that was the ultimate game of hide and go seek. But as we have heard from Jason, Father Strider's predicament and what he had done in the past to challenge Mother, it is my turn now as your dungeon master to challenge you. And so as we get ready for tonight, the last rays of sunset turn the sky from the brilliance and the glow to just the memory of it. And as the children are continuing to play as kids would do for hours after the setting of the sun. The herding has begun. Hide and go seek has continued, but there is a traffic to this section of town that normally isn't there, as people seem to be rushing from the south and the west and to the north and the east, but armored folk are moving towards the direction upon which the civilians are moving from. There's no chaos, there's no panic or rushing, but many of the town guard are moving past, and one of the town guards turns and she says to Mother, you might want to get the children inside. There's been a political disturbance down in the off in the trade ward, but we'll take care of it. It'll be sorted by supper, but just tell the children that it's high harvest tide. We're getting everything ready. I don't want to alarm them. And you are all close enough to hear this as the guardsman tips the helm and she heads off in the direction upon which many of the civilians seem to be moving from. I'd like everyone to roll a perception check for me as we start this thing. Shall we begin?
Yep.
Looking good, friends. Let's see. Levi and Audrey, if you all could roll me. There we go. Perfect.
Yeah, just take a second and perception. All right, and that's it. 10, I believe. Yeah.
Yep. Everyone but Aspen. Perhaps it's the centaurs would say at a low elevation, but you have a bit of a height advantage on many of the people. And because your senses may be more attuned to the urban sprawl and its constant assault, it is the somewhat natural smell of smoke as it just touches your nose that is a bit disturbing. It's not the pleasant wood-burning smoke of chimney fires or cooking pots. It is a harsher smell, one that seems untamed.
That's an odd smell.
Aspen, are you okay?
It's just a... it's hard to describe. It smells like smoke, but not the usual city smoke. Just, I don't know, different.
Maybe someone is having a barbecue?
Maybe. It'd be a big barbecue. I think.
Perhaps a sort of trash disposal. Who knows?
If you are concerned, we could close up down here, as the guard says, and we could go upstairs and look.
I think that we should. Yeah, let's get the children inside.
Understood.
Okay, as you all begin to move around the streets to do just that, I will let you all know that inspiration has come in for Jason. A happy birthday. That is from Hawk. Inspiration has come in for Lauren and Levi from the Resident Legion Bard. So please mark that. That is a D12. If at any point you think you need a D12, it has been provided. So, I tell you what, let's do a collective roll here, everybody. Give me this is an acrobatics. These kids are everywhere. It is herding cats. No offense, Father Strider. But let's Let's give me a acrobatics check, as these kids want to keep playing and they love the fact that there are soldiers about.
That is 2 in a row.
Yep.
Let's get those way out of the way.
Yeah. I feel your pain, Lauren, because I rolled a 2. Like, this
Oh boy. And you're a monk rogue, so yeah.
Yeah.
Just gonna refresh that. Don't pay attention.
Okay. So as the acrobatics rolls come in, it takes everybody a while. Even the very good roll of Ortus doesn't compensate for the group's just kids running between Aspen's legs and, jumping up and hiding behind trash cans. It takes a while, but you're able to kind of get them all inside the solid walls of the estate. But just as you all are able to kind of get in and the heavy kind of banded oak doors are being closed to the gates, the first explosion erupts from further down into Waterdeep. And without the need of a perception roll, you all can hear the distant sounds of screaming. And you see pluming into the sky an orange and red flame as it kind of mushrooms into the darkening sky.
I'm going to immediately move slightly that direction, not trying to charge at it, more just there are the children and other people around, and I'm just sort of almost instinctively just trying to put myself between whatever that was.
Yeah, I feel... Sorry, but I feel Ortus would have the same instinct.
Each of you take 5 honor as you have interposed yourself between the children and some unknown danger. This is a good time for me to mention that we have an honor mechanic here in the Fall of Faerun. Honor is something that is easy to forget in the apocalypse. It is something that could help you quite a bit here in this campaign. You have the ability to do advantages and other things that I will ask you to do, but you can also lose honor. And if you end a session with negative honor, you will be asked to leave the group by Mother, effectively ending your time here in the campaign. Yes, Jason.
Are the children within the doors now?
They have just kind of cleared in as Aspen and Ortus everyone sees the explosion, and Aspen and Ortus move to kind of form their own wall to extend beyond the gates. And the kids who were once playing, and there's never any fear in children. It's a fascination as they too can see this explosion kind of lift into the sky. And as they all look, there's oohs and ahs. Many of them whispering that it's high harvest tide, but you all have never seen anything like this as part of the festivities.
So Ortus and Aspen are sort of standing on the stoop, right?
Right. Think of this as like an Italian villa.
Okay.
An Italian villa would have like a 6 or 7 foot stone wall kind of interspersed with like wooden doors, and then the house and estate inside these walls. Imagine that Aspen and Ortus are just outside of the walls by the open door. Everyone else has made it into the courtyard area.
Okay, that's what I wanted to be sure about, because I was thinking they were on like the stoop of the door, and I was going to go down and secure the front gate and make sure it's barricaded.
Yeah, you're effectively at the gate. There are several other entrances into the walls. This is just kind of like a personnel door. There are big doors to open up to let the stages out and things like that, but those are all secure to your knowledge.
Okay. Then I'll just start shuffling the children into the building till we can figure out what we're going to do.
I'll go with Father Strider.
Veneris?
Mm-hmm.
No, you.
Oh, I was just going to say Zef's idea, especially if they're still like kids do want to see what's going on, is probably to take them somewhere high up. Also so she can see what's going on better. That's all.
Okay. Much like whenever you're taking children on a field trip, they need to be, one on the right-hand side of the line, one on the left-hand side of the line, and then kind of staggered back to make sure that they don't wander and split like a herd of cattle. Veneris, what were you doing when all of this was happening?
As soon as the children start to get ushered inside, Veneris is going to try and find a place in the courtyard a little bit away from the children. Takes off his cloak, wings go flapping, and he wants to try and fly up to see how close the explosion was to our home.
Excellent, excellent. How high would you like to go?
How high are the buildings around here?
This is some of the older districts, some of the narrative would state. So the tallest would be around 4 or 5 stories. So if you go up roughly 50, 60 feet, you'll clear the ceiling line or the roof line of many of the structures.
Okay, I'll go 80 feet.
Okay. So anyone that was noticing as you're kind of ushering the kids, this is taking a while with these kids coming through here as part of your earlier acrobatics roll, but you would see Veneris rocket up into the sky. Take 5 honor points as you are separating yourself from the group to perform what is essentially a scouting mission. As you go up, I'd like you to roll perception with advantage as you have a very good view of the city.
All right. 20 total.
20 total is good. Veneris, as you get up there and you look, you kind of reach your 80 feet as you look down and you see kind of the smaller dots now moving and the kids still kind of running around and Father Strider and Aspen, everybody trying to keep them together. But as you kind of raise your gaze to hit that horizon level of the city, you see, boom, you see another plume of fire, this one green in nature as it lifts into the sky. And a moment later, you hear the sound of it going off, that vroom, as it comes through, the sound taking a while after the actual burst of flame. Another orange and red plume, all seem to be coming from the southwest of the city. And it's at that point that you realize that these aren't being set off in the sky, they're being set off at ground level, and that many of the buildings further to the south and west are burning.
Can I see Aspen from my vantage point?
You can see everybody, yeah. You have a high enough position that you can see your entire party.
I'm going to start flying down to Aspen.
Takes you about a moment to get there.
Once I land, Aspen, I think it is best that we close the gates. There are explosions in the distance.
What sort of explosions? I say as I'm already like moving towards the gate. I don't need.
Veneris quickly looks around and makes sure there's no children nearby so that, they're not eavesdropping. Buildings in the southwest, they're burning. It looks like the explosions are happening on the ground. It's bad.
Multiple buildings?
Yes.
Oh my.
We tell Mother sorry. We have to tell Mother. She needs to know this.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, brother, I agree.
Yeah, let's make sure we get inside the gate, and also any of the other gates, make sure that they're locked as well.
Right.
Okay, we will have a decision here in a second. Mother is in the courtyard. The kids are still being kind of funneled into the first floor by, as we see Zef and Father Strider kind of taking people inside. The majority of the children are still outside, though. And, the staff of the estate are kind of looking around now. There's a gardener and obviously the shadowed background NPCs that may or may not become PCs later, as everyone's kind of looking around at the various positions of this large estate. And Mother moves over to your group. What is wrong, my child?
Mother, the southwest portion of the city, it is burning. There are explosions all over, as far as I can see. I fear that it is not safe.
And on cue, I'd like everyone to roll me a perception check, please.
Yes.
There we go, friends. Those are the rolls that I'm looking for there. All right. We're climbing, Zef. We're climbing. We're getting there.
She's not good with kids, so she is thoroughly distracted by trying to put them in a line. It seems really important to her right now.
Understood. But we're going to give this one to Veneris, who has just taken the position. And so even though, Father Strider, you kind of come to this realization a beat after Veneris does, but as you do so, the first sounds of screaming begin to emanate from the outside of the walls as you hear people running, shouting, "They're coming to kill us!" And you just hear people you hear as bodies kind of slide against the stone. You can't see them, but you can kind of almost sense and feel that presence. A single, two people, a couple, three, as they're running through the city, past the estate, towards the north and east, towards like Mount Waterdeep and the points to the northern exit of the city. As you hear these first groups go by, it's at that time that all of you that are still outside, Zef, even you would notice this. The large stone guardians of Waterdeep that normally stand completely statuesque, hundreds of feet tall, they're only brought out in the most dire of circumstances, when Waterdeep itself is threatened, when its fall is imminent. You see one of the large statues that normally you see the buildings that are on the side of it crack and fall as it stands up to its full height beside the cynosure, the indoor coliseum of Waterdeep. You see it stand, debris dropping off as it begins to walk. It is not watching where it steps as it crushes buildings, and you can hear screams coming from the north. It's far away enough from the estate to not cause a danger to you all. But you see this giant as it's moving from that direction towards where the explosions and screaming has come from. Mother looks at all of you. What is going on?
What kind of political demonstration would cause one of those things to start moving?
She shakes her head.
This is no political demonstration. Mother, we need to get the children out of here now. Those structures, they only activate in the most dire times of Waterdeep. We need to go now before it is too late.
Without hesitation, Mother doesn't question. She doesn't ask or propose her own plan. She trusts her children implicitly. She looks at all of you. Father Strider, you are one of her children, whether you believe yourself fallen or not. And those eyes that look at you never see or look with a hint of potential betrayal. They look with nothing but love. As the old face nods, "Get the stages together. Get the horses ready. We'll ride out to the north. Neverwinter, we can ride as far as Neverwinter if we have to." Now, you all mentioned something about securing the estate. The estate is big, with blind corners, as mentioned, as a villa. The building itself, the main building, is 3 stories high and shaped like an X, with in the middle is a kind of a communal area that would have a seating area, a galley or a kitchen, and then residential rooms kind of going off on each kind of leg of the X. But it also creates a lot of T or triangular shaped blind spots. And so there are the walls that are around this area, but to search them all, you would have to leave sight of everybody else or all go together. What would you like to do?
I can do an aerial sweep if you'd like.
Probably the quickest course of action. I will get everyone inside and make sure we are all accounted for.
As you're doing that, you see that several of the other people, like the line of children that you were taking inside, they've kind of separated them and put them into a pod on the outside, as you see several large yellow stagecoaches being brought out of the carriage house. These are the stages that whenever you're transporting the children throughout the city or going to the docks or going to the theater, you kind of load up these stages, but there are several of them, and you see that the kind of the other people and the other support staff in the estate are loading the 16 horses up to these stages as they are just rushing through tack preparation. So they've separated the kids and kind of kept them outside, per the wishes of Mother, to get out of here quickly. The question arises then, Veneris, you're going to go around and search the area, the walled area yourself?
Yes, I'm going to fly around. I am looking for any doors that may be, gates or doors that may be unlocked, as well as any straggling children that may have just not been with us at the time.
Okay, so as you flap and take to your height, how far are you flying? How high are you flying again? Are you keeping a lower vantage point, like 30 feet, or are you climbing up to 80 feet again?
I'm gonna stay around 30 feet, so that way I'm not too far off the ground in case I need to dive bomb and either grab a child or slam a door shut.
Okay, so as you're flying by, I'd like to know what the rest of you are doing, and take another 5 honor points as you are going off on your own again.
Are all the children present and accounted for where we are?
Roll me a perception check.
Good, I would love to. It's going really well so far. Oh, nice.
Yes.
Just took 3 refreshes, it's fine.
With that dirty 20, wouldn't you know, 5 of them are missing.
Do I see it? Was it the ones I was specifically leading and trying to corral?
It seems as if Pidge, Rock, Blundertruss, Robin, and Daisy are missing.
Where could they conceivably have gone? Did they slip by me into the house?
All I will say is everyone's initial perception checks and acrobatics were not great. So these kids you're not sure where you're pretty sure they're inside the estate.
Mm-hmm.
You're pretty sure. Let's see, what do we have? Ortus, Aspen, and Father Strider, what are you all doing?
I think would Zef have relayed that to the three of us?
Yeah, she's spinning around in place, and then she'll look up and flap her hands. They like to hide from her. I think she's not a cool mom. So yes.
Yeah, well, like I think with that, Ortus would probably gone. Aspen, you and I split up, circle around. Zef, Father, search the house.
And
then,
I'll take the longer direction because I'm probably faster than you.
Probably.
So like you go like the short way and I'll go the long way.
Is anyone going together?
I mean, with the way that... Oh, great. With the way that... I mean... the two of us were splitting up, but... However, Zef and Father Strider searching the house is up to them.
They could be in the house, right? It's not like unlikely for any reason that like... Because we know that they were outside and then came into the...
Mm-hmm. I was literally leading them in there before
tried, okay.
everything went to shit.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna go check their rooms.
Can I use my sort of feline nature to see if I can track them in some fashion?
Your feline nature?
It's no real mechanical ability. I'm just trying to bullshit the DM.
Yeah, roll me a perception. Roll me a with a survival. Give me a survival. As
I'd
we
have
see if you
preferred
can-
perception, but sure, DM, since I'm BSing you. A 12.
Yeah, across these stones in the cobblestone, you don't see any footprints,
Damn it.
and your feline senses have failed you yet again. Damn that.
I'm actually trained in survival. Could I roll survival?
Yeah, so am I.
Okay, sell me on it. Sell me on it, because this is, as I mentioned in the narrative, we have cobblestone areas here. You can hear the clacking and stuff. Even as you walk around Aspen, you can hear the clacking. So, looking for tracks wouldn't necessarily do it. But if you can sell me on another way that you could use survival to kind of ascertain
But if they
direction
were
or
just
passage.
previously in the dirt streets and then moved on to cobblestones, then they actually might leave tracks just of dirt.
I will take it.
Cool.
It's hard to tell because there are still about 15 kids milling about in the general area, but you do notice that it looks like there is a little bit of mud that goes over the threshold of the door into the house proper. So at this point, I'm going to ask everybody that's on the ground, that's Zef, Aspen, Ortus, and Father Strider, where are you, or where are you headed?
Ortus is probably bolting to probably in the opposite direction that Aspen went, unless they saw him go towards the house. In which case, Ortus would also go in.
Okay, well that's Ortus. You didn't roll any perception checks, so if you're going in the opposite direction of Aspen, that means that you would still be outside, kind of checking the grounds. Is that where I want to put you, or you can stop where you are?
Yeah, maybe like looking back, stopping, and wait. Audrey, have you said that you started moving towards the house, or would you have started moving?
I mean, yeah. What if I noticed that? I'm sorry. I think I missed something, but
Oh no, it's fine. I just wasn't certain.
Let's do this for positional awareness. Since you two already said that you were going to be outside, let's say that as Aspen kind of like sees the breadcrumbs that only she can follow, or as they can follow, as they're looking up the steps, they see that mud. But we're going to say that for the sake of positional awareness, Ortus and Aspen are in the same vicinity, so they're within
that's what I was thinking.
talking or whatever.
Like they
Okay.
probably would have mirroring paths. So
because we were outside getting ready to move around the house, and then got sort of distracted and said, "Oh wait, no, in the house is probably where
Right.
they're at."
yeah.
So, for positional awareness, if I ask for anything, the two of you are together, okay?
Okay.
Now I will ask Father Strider, and I will ask Zef, where are the two of you?
So-
Zef is currently like galumphing around the house, like calling out their names. Like, we're not playing. Robin,
Okay.
Pidge, like going through the list, like just walking around checking normal hiding spots, probably.
But staying outside,
No, inside.
going inside. Okay, so
Yeah.
Zef is inside. Father Strider, where are you?
Father Strider is inside the house, sort of like in the foyer area, and he's sort of calming himself to try, and he's blocking out Zef a little bit as he's trying to pick up on any type of sounds, and very Daredevil-esque. He's gently rapping his quarterstaff on the floor in the hopes of hearing sound reverbing off of the motion of children or something like that.
Okay, so for the sake of positional awareness, we have Levi and Audrey are outside. They're considered together. And for this moment, as the two of you kind of breach the interior of the estate, or the main house proper, we have Zef and Father Strider are together. But before we get into everybody that's together, let's talk to the person that went off by themselves.
Bye-bye.
Veneris, as you are flying, without the need of a perception check, you see that there are two doors on the blind side of the estate that are lazily blowing open, the heavy wood banded doors, as if they had just been recently moved.
Oh, shit. Do I see, from my vantage point, do I see anyone either in the courtyard near those doors or on the other side of the wall?
I tell you what, make a perception check with advantage, and you would know this, that the kids and like the rest of the people you just left are a building away from this.
Yeah.
So you're almost on the exact blind side of all of this.
18.
You don't see anyone, but even from this height, what did you say, 30 feet, as you're kind of, you smell something that is, you've smelled the sewers before when they've backed up after a heavy rain. This is way worse. This is fetid, rotten, decomposing. I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh no. 18.
You're able to keep any unfortunate passerby beneath you from a fun surprise as you keep the contents of your stomach where they belong, but this smell is intense, and it's overpowering in a way that it's almost frightening, because it's producing a reaction from your stomach and from your just senses that is, it's causing almost a flight, or proverbially a flight or fight mechanism. And you see these two doors open though.
Oh boy. And I don't see where the origin of this smell is coming from, correct?
You don't. It's even from this height. There's always a strong breeze in Waterdeep coming off the water. The Sword Coast, just produces them. And because the city is almost like an amphitheater that bowls up along the side of Mount Waterdeep, you constantly get that breeze, but you're not sure where it's coming from, but it's not being taken by this constant breeze. It's pretty steady.
Okay. How dark is it out right now? Is it still twilight, or?
You can see without the need for like dark vision or anything like that. It's getting darker though.
Okay. I am carefully going to fly down to the wall. I want to land, or hover over basically the top of the wall and take one last look before going down to try and shut the gate.
Okay. So you're hovering down and you're going to look around, and go ahead and we'll take your perception check that you just had. You still don't see anything, but what you do see is you feel a little bit more invigorated as you get down here, and for a moment that smell kind of eases, and you get double your current level in hit points, as Mirrors just donated for you to get a little plot armor.
Oh. So I get double my hit points?
Double your current level. So you're at 4, so you get 8 hit points. 8 temporary hit points.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. I am at this moment I feel a little bit safer. I'm gonna go down, and I'm guessing I've seen how these gates are closed before, and I'm gonna try and quickly just bar the gate.
Okay. As you get down and you begin to, imagine just a very big kind of archway type of banded wood door. you close it, and it's got a large iron bar that goes and kind of fits into the actual stone of the wall to keep it very secure. As you close these off, and as you're kind of locking one into place, roll me one more perception check.
Okay. 13.
So you needed a 12.
Oh, thank
As
God.
you are lowering this bar into place, you hear this slap of flesh against stone, and you turn just in time to see this person running at you, their hair wet and slick with some type of oil or grease. And when they look up, you see that their mouth is drawn wide as half of their jaw is broken with teeth and some type of flesh that is not their own trailing out of the corner. I need you to roll initiative for me, my friend.
Okay. Dirty 20.
Natural 1
Yes.
on my end. So as this thing is running towards you, you have a moment to react.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
Do I have the gate? Is the gate closed?
The gate that you have, you just slammed it home when you heard this thing running up on you.
Okay. And do I have a full round or just an action?
You have a full round.
Okay,
You have
I
gone
am
first
going
initiative.
to. I'm going to quickly fly up into the air, 30 feet. Use my 30 feet of movement, and then I'm going to take out my longbow, and I'm going to fire 2 shots because as a Gloomstalker on the first turn of combat, I get an extra attack. Okay, so let's see. An 8. I'm guessing that misses.
It does.
Okay. And then a dirty 20.
Dirty 20 will hit. Roll me that damage.
Eight points of piercing damage.
And what is your movement? How high in the air did you climb?
I have 30 feet of movement, so I'm 30 feet in the air.
Okay.
Oh, and then I'm going to quickly yell out for help. Somebody,
Okay.
there is someone inside the gate.
I would like Aspen and Ortus to roll me perception checks, please. You're looking for a 15 or higher since you have a whole building in between you and there's sounds from the street now. For a moment, the two of you, but the sounds from the streets are getting louder as, more and more people are running through the area. And so we cut back to Veneris at the end, and you see that the creature takes an arrow in the chest, doesn't pay attention to it whatsoever as it looks down and begins to move underneath you as if it's waiting for you to fall. You feel something brush against your boot. And as you look down, you see coming from behind you, another creature just barely brushes your boot as it has leapt off the wall to get to you.
Ooh. Oh my god.
It falls, you hear an audible crack as it lands on its shoulder, but it pops right back up. And then you see the two of them, or the one that was looking at you, it disappears towards the back of the house.
Shit. Oh god. Oh my god. Is it back up to my turn?
You're up, my friend.
Okay, I saw it move towards the back of the house. Is it inside the house yet?
It basically went under the kind of like the awning in the back that would be the back porch. So from your elevation, it has dipped inside.
Okay. I am going to... I really don't want to waste a spell yet. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to move. How close am I to that other wall behind me?
You're about 18, 20 feet above it.
Okay. I am going to move 5 more feet into the air just to get a little bit extra space between me and that area, and then I'm going to let's fire another arrow.
Sure. Let's do that.
16.
That's a hit.
Okay. 10 points of damage.
Fantastic. And as you see this second arrow kind of strike it and tear, it actually goes through that dangling piece of flesh, but it takes the side of the throat of this thing as well. It doesn't pay any attention to its lack of integrity in its flesh, but it's looking at you, and you see these eyes that are burning with an almost bioluminescence as it just watches and kind of moves back and forth as it's trying to figure out how to get to you.
Okay, I want to quickly turn around and see if there's any more coming up the wall, since that one kind of got me by surprise.
Roll a perception check.
Okay. Oh, God. 8.
All clear.
Yep. Okay. I'm still calling out as loud as I can.
Okay, as you yell out, we're gonna cut away from your scene as you're in a bit of an impasse here between the creature on the ground and you in the sky. But what we will leave you with is the explosion that occurs half a block away. And as the flame leaps up into the air, close enough for you to feel the heat, you see almost as if somebody has thrown like gelled fire or napalm as it kind of drifts and splatters around all of the surrounding homes, including several spots on the top of the estate.
We gotta get out.
Let's go to the front of the house as we have Aspen and Ortus. Aspen and Ortus, roll me perception checks. We'll take your 13s from before. Let's not do that. You see the explosion that is that close, and you see several of these globules or whatever they are splash against the plating on the roof, and fire begin to lick up from the spots in which it touched. You know that your two friends went inside. Mother looks at the two of you. Find the children and get back here.
Understood. And then bolting in.
She stops both of you before you leave, and she like grabs faces and kisses your cheeks as the two of you go, and you see tears just running down her face as her own hands are white knuckled as you without the need of a roll, she wants to go with you, but she knows where her place is with the other small children.
And I'm gonna put my hand on her head and say, "Don't worry, we'll find them."
We will protect them.
Levi, she looks at Ortus and go get them, Sunrise. And she looks at Aspen. Ride. And also with Mother's blessing, but more Mirror's blessing, Mirror has given you both 2 times your current level in temporary HP. So make sure you put those into your D&D Beyond character sheets, as, I don't know, you might need them. So as Ortus and Aspen are running across the cobblestones into the freshly lit house, let's cut inside as we have Father Strider and Zef you have entered into the first level of the house. You do know that there are 3 levels total to this, and I need to ask you, as you do not know what's going on outside, are you all splitting up, or are you searching the floors one at a time? And while you're thinking, you each get temporary hit points courtesy of Hawk.
I'm kind of just doing my thing in the foyer, hoping like full on cat ears, like as they're sort of searching around for sound as I'm blocking everything out and using my own internal piece to try and pick up on anything as I clack my quarterstaff down on the ground.
I would like a perception roll from both Zef and Father Strider.
Okay, Zef is likely started to head up the stairs to the kids' rooms.
Okay, that'll play into this then.
Okay. Hey.
Okay. As luck would have it, and as I am a benevolent GM, not really, Father Strider, you hear the slightest ping of movement from the cupboard basement below the kitchen where you currently stand. Zef, you hear very distinctly, coming from what you think to be the 3rd floor, a terrified small voice yell, "Inya! Inya!" And you recognize Pidge's voice. "I'm here. I'm here."
Yep, she takes off.
As you have split up, I'd like each of you to give yourselves 5 honor points as everyone's running around by themselves. All right, let's do this. I'm going to cut back outside to the flyer. Veneris, what would you like to do? This creature below you looks up, realizing there's nothing that it can do, perhaps, and you see it follow its companion beneath your sight as it disappears towards the house.
Veneris, he's gonna dive down, and how high up is the awning?
It's about 10 feet. It's like a back porch type of thing.
Okay, I wanna go down. Let's go down 25. So I'm like 10 feet off the ground.
Gotcha.
Can I see him?
You see that the back door of the estate is kind of almost like lazily rocking, and it's heading straight for it. It's about, if you're 10 feet off the ground, it's about 10, 15 feet in front of you.
Okay, I want to try shooting at it.
Go right ahead.
11.
This time the shot fires just over its shoulder as it turns around, and as soon as it sees where your elevation, it skids to a stop, almost like a sprinter readying for a 440, and it launches back at you, its arms stretched back behind, and this croak and like bubbly garble comes from its shattered throat where your arrow had taken it, and it runs towards you. It leaps into the air, and I need you to make for me a dexterity saving throw, or a strength saving throw, as it attempts to tackle you from the air.
Okay. All right.
I will let you know this. Since this is our first kind of, you have honor points built up. If you elect to use honor points for an advantage on this roll, you can spend 5 points before you roll, or you can roll it and then spend 10 points after you roll. Up to you.
I'm gonna spend the 5 points to get advantage before the roll. Okay, strength saving throw. I've got a +1. Oh, okay. Okay, 18 total.
As this thing leaps into the air, it pulls level with your 10 feet as it's flying, and you see its shattered jaw open as it's coming towards you, but you are able to smack it with your free arm down, partially with your bow, as it hits the cobblestones, and you have evaded its tackle for right now.
Okay.
Let's cut back inside the front door as Aspen and Ortus, you both take to the house and you rush in. You look around, you see no one. You do not see Father Strider, you do not see Zef. Where would you like to go? There are 3 levels. 3, 2, 1. You are currently on the first floor. You may call out, yell, go and search.
Can we still follow any aim that was dragged in? If so,
As soon as we get inside, you lose it.
Okay. They're good kids. They wipe their feet. But, yeah, probably, I'll say to Aspen, I go high, you go low. And then, go up to the, 3rd floor or it starts to make their way, down, calling out each of the names, Pidge, Rock, Blunder Trust, Robin, and Z.
Okay, so Ortus, you're heading to the 3rd floor to work your way down?
Yeah.
Is that what you said? Okay.
Yep.
So as you take to the stairs, Aspen, what are you doing?
I'm probably fastest if I stay on 1 level, so I'm just going to try to go to like the far end of the house. Quickly, I'm gonna yell out as I go, and then like I'll more slowly work my way backwards towards the front.
Okay, it is maybe as soon as you kind of round out from the front area between the foyer and the kitchen that you stumble upon Father Strider. The 2 of you are now together as far as positional awareness. I will now defer to this section as the camera would move away from Ortus, follow Aspen, meet up with Father Strider. What would the 2 of you like to do?
Aspen, it is good that you are here. I heard movement in the basement. We must go to see if we can find the children. Zef has gone upstairs. I assume that is where Ortus is gone.
Okay. Yeah, if you've heard something in the basement, let's go there. How do we get to the basement? Are there like nice wide staircase to the basement?
Yeah, you're not going to have to like wind down wooden stairs or steps or anything like that. This is a very old estate, so everything is built to code. So you're able to kind of go down their very wide steps. However, it's pretty dark in the basement. As soon as you all open like the kind of the cupboard cellar door in the kitchen, there is and I'd like you each to roll a perception check for me, please. With advantage.
Ooh.
Aspen with a natural 20 will give the description to you as the concern for the stairs starts to kind of mount. As soon as you open the door, you are hit with this incredibly putrid smell. It attacks the nose, it attacks the mouth. You can immediately taste it. I would like both you and Father Strider to roll Constitution saving throws for me, please.
I'm going to spend 5 points to do this with advantage.
Okay.
I didn't need it.
Okay. Detract those from your honor as you are able to make this roll, and as the 2 of you feel that, you're both able to keep the contents of your stomach where it belongs, but it is incredibly pungent, and the depths are dark. And with the former perception check by Aspen, as soon as the doors open, you see this kind of lazy, almost drift follow the air currents out, and it's these motes of glowing green. They just drift about, and you see them kind of almost like they're burning. They evaporate and spread into just like a green fog and then drift away. But you see these motes coming out like green snowflakes blown sideways instead of dropping.
have I ever seen anything like that? I mean, is remotely natural glowing plants or something?
I'm tempted to allow you to use your perception that you already roll with a nat 20, but I'm not. So I'm going to make you roll another perception check. This is not something that you can remember. This is something that you can realize.
Okay. Nope. 6.
It's just in the back of your mind, Aspen. But there's something that, whether it's the smell, whether it's the vision that you're seeing, it seems like it wants to tell you something, but you just can't get it. The sound came from below, Father.
Given this pungent aroma, Aspen, I doubt the children would have gone down into this. Whatever this is, we need to seal this door and block it off to protect the rest of the house.
I want to make sure. I'm gonna stand in the doorway and hold my shield up. And I'm gonna shout the kids' names. Just to see if I...
Let me hear those kids' names.
Pidge. Rock. Truss. Robin? Z?
Just out of the edge of the light at the bottom of the steps, you see the hairless, colorless form of Blundertruss the gnome as they peek out from the side, and you see eyes of absolute terror. And you see a small white hand reach up toward you.
I got you. You're safe now. Come here. And I'm gonna reach my hand down.
It would require you going down the 15 feet into the cellar.
Gotta go all the way down. I'm gonna light a candle. Father, can you help out? I'm just not as good stairs. Gonna be awkward. I will help you.
You said it's 15 feet down? Okay. So with that, I'd like to use my entire movement speed to get down to the bottom steps, grab Truss, and get back to the top.
Okay. I will let you know as soon as you pick up Truss, while they're not the full weight of another person, it will cut your movement speed in half.
Okay. So, knowing that, I am going to use my feline agility to, when you move on your turn, and you can double your speed until the end of the turn. Once you use this trait, you can't use it again until you move 0 feet on one of your turns. So, essentially, I'm going to tell her I'm going to grab him. When we get back up through, I need you to seal the door and sort of cordon it off.
Okay. Do you have any type of dark vision?
Yes.
Okay. So when you drop to the bottom of the stairs, as you're turning to grab this small gnome, now I know that Aspen, you do not have Staffin, straw. Staffin TJ has donated to give an extra 10 feet of movement to the good father. So you have an extra 10 feet of movement for this particular session. So from now until the end of this session, your base movement speed is increased by 10 feet.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay.
All right. So
I'm the Usain Bolt of monks at the moment.
Okay. Aspen, you can't see. You do not have dark vision, correct? Okay, so as soon as where the hand kind of stood out just at the periphery, kind of coming from the side of the steps, as Father Strider runs down, he disappears into the gloom. Again, you see those kind of green motes dancing around, some of them touching onto his clothing and evaporating as he runs down the stairs. As he gets down there, is there anything that Aspen wants to do?
I would like to prepare, like, ready in action to use my Nature's Wrath ability. If I see anything moving down there that isn't Father Strider or any of the children, but Truss is the one I'm expecting, I guess. So I'm gonna use my channel divinity to ensnare it in roots.
Fantastic. Okay, make me a perception check at disadvantage, because you can't see. You can hear, you can the aforementioned smell, but you can't.
Got a 4.
Okay. Yeah, you're just absolutely drilled into what's going on down here, Aspen, but you just can't see. And that's the dominant sense here, and that's betraying you at the same time. So, Father Strider, when you reach the bottom of the steps, I need you to make a perception check for me, please.
Okay. Oh, thank God.
This time, with flesh on dirt floor of the cellar, you hear the approach of a rapidly closing figure. And as you turn and look, there is no surprise as this creature with a missing nose and a missing cheek and an ear dangling from the left-hand side of its head rushes towards you, the armor of a town guardsman still emblazoned across its chest. As it moves in, I need you to roll initiative.
And of course I get the armored zombie. Yeah, okay. Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
I need you to make a strength saving throw for me.
I'm going to use my last 5 honor points to do this with advantage. Oh, thank you, God.
So as this thing launches at you, its shoulder hits you, and you hear the teeth pound together in a painful way as the jaw cracks, and you're able to use your reflexes to divert its own speed and drive it into the wall. Roll me a d10.
Okay.
So you hit it against the wall and you hear it kind of skitter as it flies off into the shadows. You are able to reach down, and Truss is in your hand as you begin to run back up the steps. What we're going to say is you were able to get down, you were able to get Truss, and with the added movement that Staffin gave you, you are able to get back up. As Aspen, you see Father Strider running up. There's this green, these motes all over him as you get up, and you have the ability to close this door.
Grab for him and help try to pull him up.
Aspen, seal the door. Seal it now.
Deal. I'm gonna do
Roll
that.
An athletics check.
Okay. Nine.
As you close the door, 2 hands smash out on the outside as the forearms catch against the ground and they start to pull against the wall. You see them lift, and where you were almost ready to close the door, it begins to press back against you as 1 inch closed becomes 2, 3, 4 inches open. The smell begins to waft, and one of the hands seems to be glowing green. But hey, let's cut upstairs, everybody, to see exactly what's going on with Zef and Ortus, as they're running upstairs, we're going to say that the two of you are together as this is seconds between your two passings. Ortus, you said you were heading towards the third floor. I believe that's where Zef was too.
I was going to wherever the voice was coming from.
Third floor.
Great.
Okay, so let's set this stage as the two of you, Zef, you get there first. As you look out, and it's a straight shot. But as you look, you can see that there's smoke rolling along the ceiling of the normal dormitory rooms. And at the far end of the hallway, you can hear this, "Inya! Inya!" And you know that Pidge, or something that sounds identical to Pidge, is at the other end of the hallway. As you kind of sit and take this all in, Ortus runs up behind you as the two of you are now looking at this smoke-filled hallway. What would you like to do?
Ortus is going to just step closer, just follow the voice, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Both of you roll perception checks with advantage, please.
Okay.
Okay.
22.
Perception. 18.
Nice. The two of you, as you like kind of take your first step onto the third floor, and as the strong oak boards beneath you begin to creak a bit, as they always do, you smell this incredibly pungent, as described before, smell. Make me Constitution saving throws.
Okay.
I'll take advantage on that, I think.
$12.
21.
Okay. Both of you are able to keep the contents of your stomach down. Levi, Ortus, for a moment, kind of hand on left knee as, it's real strong. Eyes watering, ears ring for a bit as you hear the blood, as you're able to kind of push the bile back down in your throat. But with that perception check, with the smell that accompanies that, you're also pretty sure that they're at the end of the hall. You're also pretty sure that the ceiling isn't long for this world, as it is glowing and rolling with smoke. There's kind of right around the edges of the wood frame, you see flames licking down between the gaps in the roof proper.
All right. Zef takes a bit of dirt from her pocket and swipes it along her legs and casts Longstrider on herself and starts booking it towards the room.
Okay.
All right.
Ortus?
Ortus is going to follow, calling out, "Pidge! Pigeon! Rock!" Just cycling through the two kids' names over and over, following.
When you yell out Pidge, the voice that's screaming, "Yeah," stops. And when you yell Rock, you see from beneath one of the doors on the far end, you see a swipe of a stick coming from beneath the door. And you hear Rock's kind of deep, half-orcish voice. "We're here! We're here!"
Yeah, Ortus can't get to that door fast enough. Just running, bolting it open, taking them, call for Zef, going.
As soon as you both get to the door, Zef getting there first with Longstrider, the door is locked, and as soon as you move it, you realize it's not locked, but something's on the other side of it, and you see the stick kind of swiping beneath your feet, like from the underneath the door, as if someone's moving something beneath the frame.
Rock, open the door.
Who is it?
It's Zephrine.
Okay. You hear the boy is terrified. And you begin to hear something sliding across the back of the door. Seems to be making progress as you hear a kind of a crash and the door gives a little bit, but it's still kind of like an inch or two. The two of you, as you are sitting there at the door now, at the end of the hallway from which you came, you see two figures move up and look, and as soon as they see you, they begin to run toward you. And from the other end of the hall, you see two more figures begin to run toward you.
Great.
And before we do that, let's cut back outside as Veneris, you see everybody has gone in. You have just kind of dodged this one creature that jumped at you. The back door is open. You hear screaming coming from inside. No role needed as you're able to hear your friends kind of screaming, Father Strider and Aspen, just kind of indiscriminate, like syllables more than anything else, but the tonality of it, you know that it's your friends.
Okay. How far away is the creature from me?
The creature jumped, and as you kind of dodged past it, it's about another 10 feet away and 10 feet down because you're still floating at 10 feet.
Yeah. Okay. Do I know how secure the back door is if I were to get to it and try and shut it? Like, is it able to be bolted, or is it more of just a...
Yeah, you know that this is a strong exterior door, so it would have the same kind of bracing ability. Banded oak. It's a tough door, but it's swinging lazily open right now.
Okay. I turn to look at it and I say, I did not say you could leave, but I'm going to. And I am going to bolt I'm going to dive and try and swoop into the house. And if I can get inside, I want to slam the door shut and lock it.
Okay. As you fly in, you are met with two sights. One, you see Aspen as they are pushing against this door that's slowly moving open, and you see Father Strider holding the gnomish child, Blundertruss, in his arms. As you come in, I need you to make an athletics check for me, my friend, as you go to close the door.
Okay. This is gonna be so bad. 19 natural 20. I have a -1.
So with a natural 20 and I rolled a natural 19, the two of you hit the door at the same time, and there is a reverberation as the oaks almost shifts a bit, but with just enough, the one puff of the wings, Veneris is able to close the door as you're flying about a foot above the ground, and you slam the rod and the lever down, blocking this creature off on the outside as you turn to face your friends that are in here. Aspen is not faring as well as you did initially, but I need to go back upstairs to the third floor and have some initiative rolled from Ortus and from Zef.
Okay.
Okay. As I find that on the sheet. Initiative.
Yes. 24.
12.
Okay.
That's a strong 12.
Strong 12. Here we go. Okay, so with a 24, you act first, Zef. What would you like to do?
What's the progress on the door?
With the last roll that was made, it was a success as far as him trying to get this thing out of the way, whatever it is. It's not clear yet, though.
Okay. Cool. Uh-huh. Okay. I am... How large is this door?
The interior doors of this, imagine, if you will, Hogwarts. You know how they have the big old doors that lead into the communal rooms? The movies? Similar. You know, this is an old place, and because of its age, you know, maybe one of the newer constructions would have light doors, but you're lucky. This is an old place. Everything's heavy and it's hard to move.
Cool. So the... excuse me. The first thing I'm going to do is the ones that are coming from my side of, like if we're standing side by side by the door, the ones that are coming from my side of the hall, I'm going to point my hand down there and cast Entangle. So the kind of really prominent veins in her hand begin to go green, like a really dark green, and grasping weeds and vines sprout from the ground in a 20-foot square. I'm going to put it in like right where they're trying to step, in the hopes of restraining them.
Very good. And what is your DC? It's a strength, right?
Yes, it's a DC 12.
Okay, let's do first one. Nat 20. Second one, 4. So as the ancient oaken woods of the floor kind of crack and split, old vines, long since dormant roots that kind of creep from the wood itself reach, but just as they begin to kind of lick the shins and knees of these creatures, the one in front leaps towards you, and as it is moving in the air towards you, Zef, the second one gets grabbed and it falls to the ground as it's trying to continue to crawl towards you, but the vines hold it.
Okay, and then seeing that that one got away, which is very rude, I am going to keel over for a moment. It almost looks like she's going to be sick. And then she starts to sprout fur and grows in size. And now we've got a brown bear in the middle of the hall.
Okay, I would like that brown bear then to make me a... Are you done everything you'd like to do?
Yeah.
I'd like that brown bear to make me a strength saving throw, please.
Cool.
Again, 5 honor points if you want to do advantage before, 10 after.
I'm gonna do it.
Remember to use your bear stats.
Strong bear.
14.
As this creature comes through, and as you sprout and the neck thickens on Zef, as the big forearms kind of boom pad against the ground, as the vines continue to do their work on the other, this much smaller creature now hits you just as you're kind of rearing up and takes you to the ground.
Oh, good.
As you are laying on your back, the creature rears up, opens its mouth, and I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, cool. Cool.
Not a fan.
Okay. Cool. Do I need to call my inspiration before or after I roll? We have that from Prax.
Before you do that, a female bardic hand reaches through time and pulls you forward around, as you have been gifted with the ability to escape certain death by Staffin, as we're going to pull a bit out of Honoria's handbag as we go back around, and instead of being able to escape the entangled vines, the creature that took you to the ground is now wrapped within them, as both zombies are wrapped up as they are trying to get to you. You have been saved. You cannot be saved in that fashion again.
You're my boy, Stefan!
Thank you, Stefan.
Yeah. So as this event of cosmic chronomancy plays out, as some time effery by a dwarf named Kelvin, maybe I've had something to play in that, We're going to go now to on the other side of the fray, as we have Ortus. You have two coming at you. They have initiative before you. I need you to make 2 strength saving throws as they both launch themselves at you.
2 strength saves. Alright, that's a dirty 20 on one, nat 20 on the second.
Okay, so as once again, I am always in the corner of my players. The first one, you kind of knock to the side as it comes to you. You batter it down. It does not tackle you. The second one with your natural 20, you redirect it and throw it behind you and over the shoulder of Zef. It lands among the entangled vines, where it comes to rest as the vines reach up around the zombie's throat. You have 1 on Ortus's side, 3 in the entangled vines, and we're gonna roll to see how far Rock can get with this. It's moving. You're gonna have another round though. Ortus, you are up as you continue to hear movement coming from the door.
I am going to go to... Ortus is going to take a great axe from their back and going to take a swing at the one that I knocked aside.
Okay.
16?
A 16 hits. Roll that damage.
Alrighty. 15.
Nice, nice, nice. So as you sink this axe deep into the side of this creature, it doesn't look at it. It doesn't pay attention to it. The blade of your axe is pulled free, taking pieces of this thing with it. It doesn't seem concerned. It is, however, concerned with what you represent. Rage and a meal. But let's cut back downstairs to the kitchen before we get any further, as we have Aspen at the door to the cellar. I need another athletics check from Aspen as the door begins to move. Okay, so wow, natural 20 and a nat 1 on the flip side of that roll. As you push this door closed, and as I always like to have fun things happen on nat 20s and terrible things happen on nat 1s, with a nat 20, as you push this door closed, you know, all of your legs kind of pushing into this thing, there is a sickening slicing sound, and 4 arms drop to the ground as you close the door shut and bar it, and they continue to move on the ground, kind of flexing and reaching. As you close the door, you even kick one away with your hoof, if you will, and you're able to stand into the kitchen. You have retrieved Blunder Truss. However, you still have missing children. The 3 of you in the kitchen, you are out of initiative. What would you like to do? Veneris, Father Strider, and Aspen.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
First and foremost, Father Strider is going to put Truss up onto Aspen's back. No matter what happens, Aspen, if things go south, you run with Truss. Do not look back.
We'll all be okay. Don't worry. Truss, do you know where Robin is?
You would all know that Truss doesn't speak very much, but Robin is their best friend. They read all the time, and Truss points back down the cellar.
How dark is it down there?
Very.
It's pitch
It's
black.
dark.
I think
And
you
good
and
at
I,
hiding.
you and I could see, friend,
Oh, I'm not
But-
so much
but-
worried about seeing.
but not Aspen.
I think I might be able to get down there. The problem is there are 2 at the door. Are there any other entrances down there?
You would know that there is a coal chute on the outside of the building that leads down there.
I can try and get them.
If it's on the outside, why don't you take Truss to the carriages
And then go around.
and then go around, and I'll distract them. You get in and out. I'll stay at this end and make sure these things don't come for you.
All right. Let's do it. Trust.
We're gonna run. You run fast because I am going to cast Bless on all three of us. Trust. While I would very much love to bless Trust, I think hopefully setting up a situation where it won't be necessary. So
bless him in spirit.
While I appreciate your generosity from your god, I would prefer that you bless the child.
Okay. Let's.
Okay. So as Truss is blessed, Veneris is blessed, and Aspen is blessed, how do you intend to keep them occupied? There is one way.
I'm gonna kick down the door and try to just trample them, basically.
Okay.
With the element of surprise. Once I'm gonna like give it a wait. I'm just gonna kind of try to do a count of when I think they're gonna be close to in position, and then I'm just gonna go.
I can send you a signal. I can minor magical
Perfect.
noises.
Okay. Okay. So the plan is for Veneris to fly Truss outside to the stages, double back around to the coal chute, dive into that. After giving you a signal to open the door, Father Strider, what are you doing during this?
So Aspen's going to be kicking down the door. Is the door currently sealed shut to where they can't get through it?
A nat 20 that cut off a couple arms. Yeah, it's sealed.
Aspen, I think there might be a safer way to do this. If perhaps we just made enough noise by, say, rapping upon the door, tapping at it, yelling towards the door. It would draw their attention and they would stay at the top of the stairs trying to get to us. It is a much safer way to draw their attention without putting ourselves in danger. And we'd be able to tell if they stay there, because of course these stupid creatures will be beating on the door.
I suppose if we leave charging in there as an option, if the other distraction doesn't work, I'm willing to try it. I don't want to endanger Robin at all. Any more than current. So plan A is just typical.
Plan A, you
ways.
bang on door. Plan B, you bust it down.
Yeah.
You'll know plan B to activate because it'll be me screaming.
And I will say this, I do certainly look forward to see a centaur surfing on a door. That will be quite entertaining.
Okay, so as this plan hatches and Veneris flies out of the estate with Blunder Truss in tow, drops off Truss as Mother watches you arc back up into the air, going back around. The stages are being dressed and tacked as you see the coal chute, which is open on the side of the house. And as you dive for it, I'm assuming you're going to do some prestidigitation or something to give them the signal?
Not until I'm inside, because I am hoping that these things need sight to see, and whenever I am in darkness, because I am a Gloomstalker, I am considered invisible.
Okay.
So if they don't, if they start, I'm gonna hold minor illusion to create a sound as far away from me as possible, which is gonna be 30 feet. Just to just little birds chirping almost. 30 feet away from me. If the zombies turn to look at me, like if it looks like they've specifically noticed me.
Okay, I've cut to my Valor music. As you dive into the chute, wings tucked to your side, roll me a stealth check.
Okay. Do I use honor? Oh boy. You know what? No, I'm gonna save that. 16.
You slide down through the coal chute. You don't touch the sides. Your wings perfectly folded as you go into the narrow opening. And as you hit into the low basement, moving your wings just enough to keep you from falling, and you touch down. As you look around, you are standing in the middle of 12 of these creatures. As you look, they are everywhere, standing. They're kind of moving back and forth. One of them at the top of the steps is glowing green, which causes your dark vision to kind of come in and out a bit. And there's another one just maybe 5 or 6 feet from you that is almost entirely green. And you see a pulse going up it.
Oh god.
As it comes up. But they don't seem to have noticed you.
Oh, thank god. Can I recall, is there anything that I would know about why they might be glowing green, as the undead are my favorite enemy?
Sure, roll me a perception, which is not to remember something, but to realize something, and you may do so with advantage.
Ooh, I really need it. Oh, thank god. Okay, 18.
It takes a second, Veneris, but it's in combination with the sight and the smell that you realize that this thing smells like alcohol. Raw, unrefined alcohol. Something very, very flammable. And then you remember the green explosion you saw 80 feet up. As you are looking around too, you see from the barrels filled with the grain used to make the oatmeal for the children, you see Robin's head peek up. He's completely blind down here.
Okay.
But for some reason, they have not noticed him.
I'm going to... How far away am I from the cellar door?
It's up about 15 feet from floor to the door, but you're about 10 feet away from it where the coal chute is.
Okay, so it's within the 30 feet, correct?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to... Not birds, but I'm going to make a minor illusion. The sound of heavy footsteps up at the top of the door.
Dum, 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 dum. Not one of them turns to look.
Okay. Do my friends hear it, though?
Yeah, no need for a roll there. They would hear it. So I will ask now, as we cut back up a few feet to the kitchen with Aspen and Father Strider. You have no clue what's going on down there, but you hear the dum dum dum. It doesn't seem like there's any movement on the other side of the door. What are you gonna do?
Try to make some noise, like bang on the door, wait, hear if I see it, like hear anything. Talk, probably, just shout blessings.
Each of you can roll a perception check for me. And Aspen, no movement from the other side of the door. They are not reacting. As you are left with your plan B, we are going to cut up to the 3rd floor. As we have a wounded zombie in front of Ortus, we have 3 that are beginning to pull themselves through the entanglement, but none of that matters because it is Zef's turn.
Can I, with my bear strength, help Rock open the door?
You sure can.
Great. That's what I would like to do.
Roll me an athletics check, please.
Okay. $17.
Okay, you are able to, as you push the rest of the way, the wardrobe that had been toppled by Rock slides enough to even let your bulk in. Obviously, though, if a bear can get in, so can smaller things.
Mm-hmm.
You see Rock and Pidge inside. They are both terrified.
Yeah.
Roll me a perception check.
Okay. I think I have advantage on that. It's the 10.
Yeah, chaos reigns.
Yeah. What does this room look like?
It's almost like a bed, and in the far back there is a window that is barred. Old structure.
Okay. I'm going to... and how is the wardrobe moved?
It had been toppled against the door, and when you threw it open, it kind of slid it away on its side, away from the back of the door. So you kind of like pushed it and moves back, and Rock steps back, and when he sees a bear come in, he immediately goes and gets in front of Pidge. Stay back!
Okay. I'm going to stay by the door, and I mean, I can't talk, but I'm going to be waiting for Ortus to come in and close it with me, I think.
That's your held action? You're just gonna...
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Basically going to wait until I can rebar it for now.
I will let you know this, even with the entanglement restricts it to half movement, correct? Through the...
They're restrained since they fail. So they're restrained, and if they do break it, it's difficult terrain.
Difficult terrain, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So you will know that they will have the opportunity to try to break free, and they are well within half their movement, mechanically speaking.
Right. Yes. Oh, and they use their action to try and break it. Okay. I'm going to kind of then like put my bear head down towards Rock and Pidge, kind of in a like get on. I assume they've seen me do this before, so she's like pointing to her back.
Well, let's see if they've seen you do this before. Let's roll a d20.
Okay.
11 to 20, you've done it for the kids before. 1 to 10, you haven't, because I know your backstory and you haven't been around that much. So
Yeah. Okay.
So you're looking for an 11 to 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've seen you. You've given him rides. It takes him a second, but he realizes, Sister Zef?
If bears could roll eyes.
Rock's not the sharpest rock in the shed. He reaches over and takes Pidge and puts Pidge. So they're in the process of loading up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It will, however, be the zombies' turn next time. As we're going to have 3 of them try to break free. 1, 2, 3. DC was 15 on the last one, right?
No, it's a DC 12, so 2 of them.
2 of them break free as they move forward, and they are in melee with you now, but they don't have a chance to do anything as their action was to free themselves. Ortus, you see all this happening, and the one that you struck on the side takes a shot at you.
Okay.
And misses.
Hooray.
So, Ortus, you have 2 that are on. You see the 2 descend upon Zef. You see that the one in front of you is still active, and there's one forcing its way through the vines. You're in an interesting situation here. What would you like to do?
It's a very interesting situation. I am going to call out, Rock, Zef, close the door. And then I'm going to have to double check how this works. Okay, so if I have to, I'll like drag the zombie I've already put an axe into the fray with the other 2 zombies, and then I am going to rage. And part of my rage is that I'm going to that in a 10-foot area around me, every creature is going to take 2 fire damage.
Okay. So as the fire reigns supreme and as you rage, is there anything else you're going to do at this time? Because you do still have an action, don't you?
Right. If I can, I'm just going to take a swing at one of the less hurt zombies with a dirty 20.
Dirty 20 will hit. Everybody's rolling real well tonight.
Remember before we started when I said that dice hate me? So yeah.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
Oh man, I drank this. I'm sorry, but yeah, that will be 19 for the damage.
It'll be the extra 5 is the if you had rolled the
right,
critical. Yeah, so it'd be 14.
So 14, yeah.
Okay,
plus
so
rage damage.
Oh right,
yeah,
2.
plus the 2 that comes through as well for the. So we're gonna say that the one that you struck last round with the axe in the side, you are able to remove head from shoulders as it drops to the ground, and fire begins to lick from you up the walls to meet the fire coming through the ceiling.
Yep, I forgot about the first fire, so yay, more fire.
Okay, so do you move anywhere or do you stay in the hallway? Your last command was to close the door, but are you doing anything? As you swing and take the head off, there are still 3 of them out in here.
I think I'm just going to, if I can get closer to the zombies, but further from the doorway.
Are you trying to draw them off?
More so as like a tactical thing with the storm aura, but yeah, that can work.
Roll me an intimidation check.
Intimidation. 19.
Okay. Here's where something happens. We have a held action from a bear. We have 2 kids that are inside. We have a hallway on fire. We have... Levi has just moved Ortus into a position where they have drawn away the 2 that were on Zef. All of them, there's one that's entangled, Ortus, and then the 2 that were on Zef have turned towards Ortus away from the door. The held action will allow you to go in and close the door if you wish.
The hallway's on fire. I'm in the doorway, correct?
You've pushed it open, yep.
Can I see if there's a clear path back down the stairs from here?
There is smoke, there is fire. You think that you could probably make it?
Yeah, okay. Since I have Longstrider still up, I have 50 feet of movement as a bear right now. So they're on me, and if Ortus is doing this, I'm charging out of here. Seeing there's no way out of the room.
Okay, with 50 feet of movement from Longstrider, and the fact that as we flip back around to the top of the initiative order, you'd be first anyway.
Yep.
We're going to kind of combine your held action and your movement.
Mm.
You are able to get Pidge, and if you want, Rock will run with you if you want, or he'll ride on the back. It's totally up to you.
He should ride.
Okay, So as you ride and run through the smoke and fire with these two kids, you cast a glance back as the two kids look back, and you see as Ortus stands there with his axe, fire licking off him, surrounded by the undead. Ortus, take 15 honor points for this move. And as you run and hit the steps, Pidge reaches back for Ortus. Anya! Anya! As she yells, I'm here, as you drop down out of view. Ortus, you are staring off against these 3 zombies, but we're going to step down to the kitchen for a moment to see what is going on and what decision Aspen and Father Strider have come up with. Smoke is beginning to collect here in the kitchen as well.
They're not moving. It's not enough. We gotta go in.
But Veneris did say that his call-out would be our signal if he needs assistance. He said he would scream.
I would like to try something if possible.
We'll get to you in just one second, my dear friend, but I want to know what these two are doing, because I have a centaur, I think, ready to throw open a door, and I've got a monk that's dragging his feet a bit. Let's see what we're going to do.
I mean, unless I am mistaken, that is what he said his signal was. If we break open the door too soon, we could be completely screwing up his plan.
I will let you know that the heavy pounding that you heard sounded distinctly different than general zombie movement. So I won't make you guys roll an intelligence check or something to realize that was like a different sounding sound. So you would have definitely heard that as Veneris made that cast noise up by the door.
What if something is wrong?
Very well, then we shall go then and see where your gods will take us.
Okay. What if, instead of kicking down the door, you open the door and I'll, as I charge in, that way, if we are wrong, you can close the door again.
So I open the door, you charge in with your shield to sort of force them down the stairs.
Yeah. And then if everything is wrong, you can close the door behind me.
I think this is a good plan.
So I'm actually gonna move back to get a running start. At least a 30 feet running start. Which is mechanically advantageous. And
I will definitely allow it. By the way, we have inspiration has just been given to Levi for if there is to be an epic last stand, let it be so. And,
yes.
Jacob, who is the trapped person that you would like? Is that Veneris? If that's Veneris, then you're going to get some plot armor coming into Veneris. Just in chat, Jacob, if you could just let me know, my friend. So the door's coming open, Aspen, and you're going to the door's going to be opened by Father Strider, and you're charging in 30 feet with the run.
Well, I'm going to try to move 40 feet, but yeah, just as the door goes open, just boom right through.
I would suggest a full sprint, like a dash, perhaps.
Okay, yeah, Veneris, that was for, so you have additional plot armor, which is temporary hit points, twice the level. So,
I do have a question. I already received some plot armor. Do I get more?
I'm going to allow you, normally you can't stack it. I'm going to allow you to stack it because you're by yourself down there. That was pretty badass.
Okay.
I'm going to make a ruling this one time.
Okay.
So, with pinpoint accuracy, Father Strider, you pull the door open as running from the hall from the front door, galloping towards the back staircase down in. Aspen, you hit it 30 feet full speed. As you come in, you are gifted by a chain of these creatures coming up the steps. There's about 4 of them on the stairs in the landing as you hit. Veneris, you see the door open and you see your friend Aspen explode into the top of the staircase. Tell me what you'd like to do, Aspen.
Oh my god. Okay, question. How tight is the mine shaft? Is it like a 5 foot?
The coal shaft, you could not fly back out of the coal shaft. You could kind of jump through it, but you couldn't extend your wings to get out.
Okay, so I would have to climb out.
Yeah.
Essentially. Oh, and I feel like a small child is probably not super athletic, but they're probably more athletic than me, which is still really bad. So, where is Robin in respect to me? Is he like?
He's about 10 feet away from you, but he's in like a kind of a perpendicular right angle away from the stairs. He's 10 feet deeper into the basement.
Okay, 10 feet deeper into the basement. And how high is the basement? Is it just like a 10-foot room?
It's not even that. It's more like, 7 feet. Like if you're too tall, you're going to be like Aspen's going to be real close whenever they get in here.
Okay. I want to, in the darkness, I want to try and move over to Robin, and I'm praying that my Among the Dead as a Pact of the Undying will help me out here a little bit to get to Robin without getting super noticed. And eventually I want to try and get Robin back to either the mine shaft, or if I see an opening towards the door by the time I get to him, one or the other. Just whichever one looks better.
Let's do some fun things here. I'd like all of my people in this level, Aspen, Father Strider, Veneris, and of course the zombies, to roll some initiative to see in what order all this fun stuff takes place. Veneris, you are first. You're going to try to move through them?
I want to very carefully move to Robin, yes.
Roll me a stealth check as you literally are moving through these creatures, trying not to touch them.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Oh, that's real bad. It's 10 points to use advantage after the roll. I have 10 left. I'm going to use them.
Okay.
Dirty 20.
Bit of a swing there. As being honorable. I'm going to let you take those 10 honor points back because that was dope. You keep those 10 honor points because Mirror's donation just came in to make you invisible to the undead for 30 minutes. Yes. So for the rest of this session, you are invisible to the undead. So as you are moving, your grave sense is able to kind of, you move through this repugnant smell, keeping your wings tucked, and as they kind of turn and look as you're walking through, but they're right in front. And as you make your way through, you just reach your hand out and you feel the small hand, cold and damp, of Robin grab hold as you pull the boy free and up to your side as you begin to move back. What is your movement speed when you're
My
not flying?
movement when not flying is 30 feet. Do I still have an action?
We're going to say that your action is getting Robin and kind of like getting him up. Okay. But I will, however, allow you to get back to the chute. And part of your action can be to get him into the coal chute. And if you want to go that way, because Aspen is making a glorious mess of things at the top of the staircase. It might not be the best way to go.
Yeah, I see the mess, and I'm going to try and get him back to the coal shaft, the mine shaft.
Okay.
Oh God.
So as you put the boy in the coal shaft, children, especially 10-year-olds, are experts at getting into places that they should not be. And so this child begins to kind of spider up inside the shaft, and you see the feet kind of disappear up in there. However, he's quiet enough that they do not hear him as he climbs up into the shaft. DC at 12 there, everybody. As you're standing there and looking, we are now going to jump to Father Strider. Everything you hear an absolute commotion. Nothing seems to be happening in your neck of the nape, though. What do you want to do?
How far down the stairs has she pushed this sort of zombie blob?
You have no clue, as Aspen will be going last, or next after you. So you have no idea what's going on, how well she fared. You have no idea what's going on down there. If you turn and look, you're basically seeing, pardon my French, horse ass as they jump down in there, and like horse ass and like armless zombies. It's just a mess right now.
Okay, so I would assume that since it's sort of a staircase, it's maybe like 2 people wide, sort of. Okay, so in knowing that, I'm going to go in behind her and sort of just kind of surveying the scene with my dark vision. Can I see Veneris grabbing a hold of the other one, Robin, and taking them towards the coal chute?
Roll me a perception check as you follow in. Now, I will tell you this, Father, if you go into... we'll get to Aspen in just one second. Thank you, Hawk. As you go down into the chute, you are putting yourself into harm's way now. You will be down past the door. You'll be the last thing to the door, but you will be in the field of combat, so to speak.
Yeah,
Is that okay with you?
That's fine. So, as of right now, yeah, I rolled a 10. So what do I see? Well, that's going to determine what I do.
We'll say this. You see Veneris by the coal chute, but you don't see anything that transpired before that because of the aforementioned horse ass.
Would my back be to them as I'm trying to get the child up the shaft?
We'll say that you can position yourself however you would like. If you kind of turn to make sure the child could get up there and kind of face back the zombies, that's when Father Strider would have seen you.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that, I am going to position myself between Aspen and the zombies. As I see it, to me, just judging by Veneris's body position, it looks like he's retreating, so I've got to assume that he's got Robin. And with that, I say to Aspen, it is time for us to retreat. For now, the zombies get the kiss of the dragon. And with that, I smooch the 2 that are in front of her with my quarterstaff. So I get a 1 strike with my regular attack, and then I get a bonus action martial arts attack on the other one.
Right.
And then, right. So I'm going to attack them. I'll get that out of the way. So quarterstaff, single hand. There's that with the damage, 9 bludgeoning on the first one.
Okay.
And then the offhand attack with 6 bludgeoning on the second one.
Okay.
And with that, now I'm going to use, since I didn't have to use it before, my feline agility to double my movement speed to a total of 100 feet to sort of push her back away and up the stairs, out of their range. I've already placed myself between the two of them, and now because of Swashbuckler, I'm able to move away from them without provoking an attack of opportunity.
Okay, so you jumped in front of Aspen, butt attack, flip back over Aspen, and head back up the steps?
Yes, pulling her tail.
Okay. Well,
I apologize in advance.
that's flavor.
Very rude.
Just real quick, they them for Aspen, y'all.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Pulling their tail.
Right. So as Aspen feels their tail pulled, it's at that moment that Hawk's donation of an extra 10 feet of movement kicks in. How's that for segues? Yes, everybody.
Yeah.
Master the narrative. I know what I'm doing. So as all of this takes place, we go to the zombies' turn. And with Father Strider back up the steps, the zombies are now considered a horde. I need Aspen, the only person that they can sense, to make a dexterity saving throw.
So, with blessing, that's a 14.
How many honor points do you have?
I have 10. Should I get advantage for that one? Okay,
That's not a good question.
Do it.
Do I reroll the D4 as well? Then,
I will allow it, yes. The DC is 20.
Oh no.
Oh.
No. It was the same roll.
The exact same.
Well,
Oh,
hold on.
Not very dexterous.
Everything freezes. And as Aspen feels their tail being pulled, but that doesn't mean anything compared to these creatures that are all over them. Both shoulders, back, almost tackling and dragging them down. As you are sitting there, a creature comes forward, dressed in a white suit, but with curled, barbed horns coming from their head. That was quite impressive. I like impressive. I will let you escape this place. Take your friends away. But that impressive part. And the creature points, now frozen, your entire body, Aspen, covered in these frozen zombies, as one hand is reaching up against your face. This new creature in the white suit moves forward and looks you in the eye. It's standing every inch the 6 feet that you do. I will let you escape, but that impressiveness. And it touches your forehead. Is mine. Will you continue to be impressive on this plane? Or will you join the rank and file.
I don't understand.
He leans back and pulls at your chest, and you see wisps of white leave your honorable frame, and you realize that this creature is pulling your soul. A small price to pay for being so impressive.
No, you can't have it.
You feel it return to your chest a bit. But you'll die.
They won't. What good is it without the light?
What is darkness without light?
The enemy.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Yeah.
Oh! Nat 20.
Yes. Most impressive. Get your friends clear. Impressive creature. And again, the fingertip, the nail, just a touch too long, touches your forehead and drags it between your eyes. I'll be watching you. Okay, here's what I need.
Oh my god.
I need athletics or acrobatics from Father Strider, from Aspen, and from Veneris, because our friend in the white suit just lit a match. So you guys go ahead and roll those as we jump up to the 3rd floor. So as we return to the top, to Ortus, you have 3 of them that are moving to face you. I need you to make 3 strength saving throws for me as they come at you.
Alrighty. 3 strength saves. 1, 2, 3. The dice tell a fucking story.
How is that even possible?
Just had a devil show up and you roll.
6, 6, 6.
And I'm a
Holy-
G-Blade, and I drink the dice.
Oh my god, I've never seen anything like that.
Legion, please clip that.
3 individual rolls for 6s, for 3 6s, after a devil tries to strike a bargain with the group.
Guess what I have? 30 honor. Let's go again.
I've seen everything.
24, 13, 23.
Oh my god.
Hold on a second. I'm getting too old for this shit. Hold on. Wow. Holy smokes. Raiders, welcome in. We just had a player roll 3 nat 1s that formed a 666 in total after the party had just spoken to a devil. We're all shook. We're all a bit shook.
I think I'm actually dying.
Okay. Come on, Greg. You got
Okay.
this.
23, 24, 13. For the new ones.
With the 13, I need you to roll a dexterity saving throw.
Okie doke. 20. Dirty 20, but still 20.
So somehow, in the middle of this maelstrom,
6 weeks in a movie. Sorry.
Ortus is grabbing these things and throwing them against the wall as he is just staying a step ahead of these snapping fangs that are reaching for his neck, throwing one to the side, throwing another, throwing two together. Ortus, it is your turn. You have these 3 things on you, and at this moment, you have the ability to get the out of there as the flames erupt along the ceiling and the roof begins to collapse.
Ortus is going to call for Truss and Robin, even though I know, but Ortus doesn't. And Z, is there any response or anything?
As soon as you yell out Z, you see a door open at the end, and the half-elf's head sticks out, tears streaking her face. She is close. She's between you and the staircase.
So I can grab her by on the way out.
If that's what you want to do, my friend.
Ortus takes a step, breathes, and if I may establish a backstory, does this little chant that Father Strider taught them, and then goes to Z and leaves. Sister, we are leaving. We have to get to the carriages.
Okay. So everything's coming together now, all right? We had our rolls earlier, acrobatics, athletics, and Aspen with an 8, Father Strider with a 21, Veneris with an 11. I need an acrobatics or athletics from Ortus as everyone's leaving this place, as it's coming down. Let's see what we can do here.
Wait, I'm sorry, you need me to roll acrobatics?
Or athletics, your choice, as you're grabbing Z and running.
Alrighty. 17.
Okay. It's funny that I now have to roll. Okay, I need 17 damage dealt to Veneris and Aspen as you all rush from the fire that begins to just whistle past you. Anybody that's saved, you may take half of that, which would be Father Strider, unless you have, I don't think you have evasion. If you do, then okay. And Ortus, as you rush from the area, the house explodes from either the roof coming down above or the explosion coming from below, as every one of the kids and every one of the group appears outside just as Mother's estate goes up in both green and red flame, and with a slide towards the end, as you all look back, the ashes and the green motes begin to settle as Waterdeep burns around you. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we're going to end the first session of the Fall of Faerun.
Oh my god. Was all of that fire damage at the end?
It was, so you probably take half of that?
Yes.
There you go. Wow.
Whatever, 17 damage.
Fantastic job with the creepy making me shake rolling at the end with the 666. And then the amazing nat 20s. That persuasion check by Aspen. What was that? Oh my word, I love that. Oh.
And after some very good roleplay, Audrey.
Thank you.
So
Loved it so much. Everybody, what we'll do is we're going to try to speed up outros a bit, but I want everyone to follow everybody. That's why I put Twitter handles in here the whole time for you to be able to follow. What I'm going to do is, because I didn't know who was going to be here at the end, and it's the same people that were here at the beginning. I don't have my outros planned, but we're going to go around and talk to everybody. And then what we'll do is, please make sure that you check out the links for this stream. See every name on there, and please follow it. You've seen these folks in action. It's time to follow them and put some kindness and put some fucking luck in your, everybody. Holy smokes. Let's go to the birthday boy first. Jason, how you doing, my friend?
Well, I almost had a heart attack on my birthday, so that was good. But yeah, it's not often that we see Greg at a loss for words. So if we're in a session where he can't formulate a sentence, that was a good damn session. That's all I'm going to say. From the persuasion check, that was nuts against the devil. That was the most clutch 20 I've ever seen. And then the 666. I can't. I don't even. This is definitely the apocalypse. But yeah, you can follow me at Jason T DnD DM on Twitter, and as I talk all sorts of D&D stuff. But yeah, I amazingly surprised I survived this week. I look forward to next week.
Fantastic, my friend. I'm still shook. I'm just going to sit over here and just shake a little bit and shiver every once in a while. It's dropped down to Jordan. Jordan, my friend, how did you enjoy your time? And again, walking among the undead. You were down among a horde. That is not a good place to be. But hey, once again, we've got the Legion on your side. They're digging the party. So, what did you think, my friend?
Oh man, I am at a loss for words. That was amazing. I just want to thank the Legion for helping me out there in that horde moment, because that was stressful AF. Honestly, this is my first time doing a stream, so I'm so thankful to be here, and I'm so thankful for you guys. You are all awesome and so welcoming. Follow me at Jordan Kawachi on Twitter. I don't really tweet all that often, but you can find me there. And again, tonight was awesome, and I can't wait for next week.
Fantastic, my friend. Fantastic. Like I said, some really, really memorable moments. I'm going to go back and watch this one because there were so many things that I was so into at the moment that it just badass things flying in, closing the. How many nat 20s to get shit shut in this? Like it was like the door needs to be closed. That's just nat 20. That sucker. Boom. And I was like, wow. Okay, that's great.
We're like the inverse Vox Machina. It's
right.
Great.
Doors are your friends. they give you strength. You know? Oh, fantastic. There's Jordan's link in chat, everybody. I'll try to do these manually. Let's jump over to from Surely Dead to Among the Living. Levi, you thought you were going out, and you gave it your best chance. But
for those who don't know, I've been saying for the past week that I will be the first to die. And I faced down 3 zombies in a burning building and 3 6s, 3 nat 1s, in order to live and find another day. But yeah, I'm Levi, LeviFest97 on Twitter. A couple things. Saturday, 1 Eastern, I will be running my favorite game in the whole wide world, Masks of the New Generation, on twitch.tv/Unmade Gaming for their Extra Life charity stream. Please go and check out. First time running a game ever, hooray. And Sunday, playing some Fiasco on Other Doc. That was new to me. Oh, speaking of new to me, a very eventful session. First ever session of D&D. So thank you all. And let's see, I'm a gaming Fiasco. Yeah, stay tuned to my Twitter. Yeah, I yell about a lot of RPGs, especially my mask game on twitch.tv/KFaze, which not entirely certain when that's going to be coming back. but you'll know because I never shut up about it.
Well,
Thank
my
you,
friend,
Legion.
I don't want you to stop talking about that game, but you've got some material now for at least a week. You got a story you can live off of for quite some time.
Oh yeah, I'll be back here too. So yeah, boy oh boy.
Great job, my friend. The centaur of the hour. Aspen with the staring down a devil and, I mean, pardon the French again, basically telling him to go fuck itself. And I think that was super duper dope. Audrey, how are you, my friend? And where can we find you online?
I am so happy because I went into this session I'm not gonna try to die by any means. I'm gonna try to live through it. But you know what? Stairs or like trying to scale a wall, that's gonna be it for me. And so as soon as we had that situation where it's like, all right, we're choosing to just go for it on these stairs, I was like, well, this is it. And it wasn't. So I am so happy about that. I am on Twitter at Audrey Arcana. I am not currently in any, well, I didn't think this was going to be too far ongoing, but maybe it will be if we continue to be this lucky, roll 20s. But I'm not currently in any other ongoing game, but if you have one, I'm interested. So anybody looking for somebody to play either D&D or Invisible Sun are my big ones, but I try a lot of things, so.
Fantastic. Everybody, Audrey's link is in chat. If you are part of a human resource department for a D&D party, please make sure that you give them a shout and see if you can conscript a devil negotiator into your squad. I can't see where it would go wrong. Speaking about devil negotiator, Lauren, how are you doing, my friend? And where can we find you online?
You being the devil, right? Yeah.
Sure.
Hi. I had 3 heart attacks during that. I was just so floored by everyone's badassery. I'm super excited to see y'all next week. Y'all can find me on Twitter at ThatSaltyGinger. I'm a member of the creative team here at Tales from the Grim, where I GM a Lady Blackbird campaign called Wild Blue Yonder, and we have our season finale this Monday at 9 Eastern right here.
Oh, absolutely, everybody. Just between you, me, and the old lamppost, I had a fantastic time. This was I fully expected. We had 3 people waiting to come in. Well, 2 people in Dawn, but we had those people ready to come in, and I am both sorry that they waited and not sorry, because this was a fantastic, epic session with both the collaborative narrative of the fantastic support of the crew in chat, the Legion coming forward for these 5 new characters, and then these characters rewarding the Legion with epic moments of RP and dice badassery. This was something else. I mean, from Veneris shooting into a coal chute with wings folded down, to Aspen and the father running down the steps and then negotiating against the devil, and Ortus staying up there as a bear carried off the kids. I mean, what the fuck just happened? I mean, it was fantastic. I really had a great time with all of this. Enjoyed it so much. Can't wait to get further into the story as next week we continue towards with Mother and with the characters that you see around you, as we learn a little bit more about what's happening in Faerun and what the world is like in Waterdeep. They have escaped Mother's house, but now there is the entirety of the city of Splendors that must be escaped. So we'll see how they do it now. You will also notice that Staff and TJ's bit ranking is 14,666. I'm gonna go like jump in holy water or something. So from us to you, some things to check out: the aforementioned Lady Blackbird Mondays, our season finale. It's so good. Lauren's doing such a fantastic job with it. Please check it out. It is great. Check it out on YouTube. We also have Highlander at, I think it's 3 p.m. Eastern this Sunday, as we have a little bit more from the Celt and the Roman, as Pruitt from WebDM and Alice from Scraticus Academy are going to be there to do some fun stuff. We'll be back here next week. And if you're looking for some Star Trek, tomorrow afternoon from 1 to 4 p.m., we finish our series of Perfection Shadow with Lauren and a lot of other fun people. TK was in chat, I saw, and you can join up and have her yell at me for doing whatever I do poorly. And it would be perfect to be perfect. And Lauren yells at me, and then TK yells at me, and they say terrible things to me, and it's just the best. No, I'm joking. I love them all so very much. Come see our fantastic game. But until then, everyone, look at these faces all around, because you're going to be seeing them again next week. Because by God, they lived. Until next time, my friends, the campfire goes down. There's only one thing left to say. You can't always roll nat 20s, but fuck yeah, you can. But you can always role play. We'll see you next week, friends.